Good morning, Turfs Up Radio. Wayne Voles, Profits Unlimited, coming to you live from Louisville, Kentucky. Yes, indeedy. Oh my goodness, we got a great show planned for you guys today. We got a special guest coming your way today. It's going to be awesome. That's what it's going to be. So hey, I appreciate each and every one of you guys joining us. Hope your Monday morning is off to a good start, to say the least. Hope everybody showed up to work. Hopefully you're out making a dollar or two doing what it is that you like to do. So, yeah, that's what our plan is, to talk a little bit about profit time. Our special guest is going to talk about a way to help us make more money. So we're looking forward to that side of it. And going to share a little bit of what went on over the weekend. I appreciate your text already. Yes, indeedy, no doubt about it. But hey, it looks like we're going to have a good day. Weather-wise is cold. Weather-wise is pretty cool here, to say the least. We got temperatures in the mid-20s right now, rocking around. A little bit of snow. Got a little bit of snow going to be rolling through here. We actually got our first winter weather advisory going on. So, yay, we'll see how that pans out. Not expecting to get to do too much of anything from the zero side of snow today. So, but hey, it just means that here we are. What is today? November 10th. So we're 1/3 of the way through the month, and we got our first winter weather advisory. So we'll see what happens. We'll see what happens. There are a couple schools that have already closed. Crazy. I mean, it was, just they weren't expecting very narrow band of snow. I will say BAM told us all about it. Appreciate my buddies at BAM. They talked about, the snow squalls and potentially, some accumulating snows and road hazards. So these are areas that got the snow late last night into this morning while it was still dark out, had a little road impact. So kids are out of school just a couple counties away from us. Our late starts, I'm not sure exactly what it was. Wasn't paying that close of attention to it because it didn't matter to me, But yeah, that's what it is. And the funny thing about it is we've already had a couple leads for snow roll through our office this morning for, people panicking a little bit. Residentially, we don't do residential snow work. I mean, we got out of that business a long time ago. But hey, for you guys to do it, hey, rock it out, do it. But yeah, it's just not for us any longer. But I'm not saying it shouldn't be for you, so don't send me any hate mail or, reach out to Turfs Up Radio and say, Wayne Voles is saying don't do driveways. No, I'm not. I'm saying do all the driveways you want. It keeps you busy. It keeps you off the good stuff. So, yeah, do them driveways. Heck yeah. But no, all joking aside, man, if you make your living doing driveways, make your living doing driveways. We're not talking about snow and ice management much today. But, yeah, it's cold, going to be a little bit of snow. Then not too long from now, we're going to be up in the 60s in a few days. So, hey, it's going to be a short-lived experience for us at WLS. We decided to not call it a production day. Just weather was fine this morning. Could have easily got crews out and done a few things, but our buddies from BAM said, hey, we've got a really good chance of snow squalls rolling through, and we just didn't want to be involved in that, and knowing that we got 4 really great days of weather coming, and get start stop for what we got going on. So that was our choice to make, so that's what we did. So hopefully you made a good choice on what you're doing. Had a great weekend. Friday night started off awesome for me, man. I got to go to my granddaughter's little basketball game, and she hit a buzzer beater at the end of the game. It was so cool. And the funny part about it is y'all expected me to say, oh, buzzer beater, and they win the game. No, they got beat by 30. Literally, but she did have a buzzer beater, so it was pretty cool. And the thing is, she didn't even know it. They just threw the ball in. She shot it and it went in, and then the horn went off, and by golly, it was exciting. So anyway, so even though they got beat like drums, the good part about it is in this Catholic school league that she plays in, they still play with a scoreboard, so they know who wins, who loses. Kids know that shit anyway. That's the reality of it. I mean, they know who wins, who loses. And all the parents are keeping score when they pretend they're not. They pretend they're not. Well, oh, it's not a matter of who wins or loses. Yeah, it does matter who wins or loses. They're out there to have fun, but they need to learn that if the other team outplays you, hey, learn this is going to be life, man. Somebody out hustles you. That's the way it is. I mean, we all make choices every day on what we do within our businesses. So do what you want to do. It's ultimately always your choice as the owner. That's the cool thing about it. But and then Saturday, Tabitha's granddaughter Violet, cutest little girl, she turned 5, and they had a birthday party for her. We went up to that in Frankfurt, and she got this little horse, not a real horse, but she got quite a few little things actually. But appreciates everything she gets, man. And Kyle's daughter had this horse that she outgrew. Probably stands about 3 feet tall, I guess. Nice sized little horse that you act like you're riding it, and its legs move up and down, and actually propels itself pretty well. And she really did love that thing. I can't remember what she named it. Sparkling Glitter, I think, or Glitter Spark or something. Yeah, Glitter Spark. Thanks, Katie. And I don't know where in the world that name came from, but they were having a time riding that damn horse. So it was a great recycled toy, and she really did appreciate that. And then Sunday wrapped up going over to Katie. Katie had Tab and I over for some homemade chicken and dumplings, and man, it was good. Good, nice soft chew on my tooth. I get my tooth fixed tomorrow. So yeah, looking forward to that. I go for my dental procedure / root canal tomorrow. And so hopefully I'll let y'all know about Wednesday. So hopefully, things are going pretty good with that. I did going through my antibiotic. They got it feeling pretty good now, but I'll be glad to get it fixed. I know that. So looking forward to that. So that's what my weekend looked like. And then here we are on Monday, just kicking things off and things rocking and rolling pretty heavy. So that's what's going on here at WLS today. And we're doing a full-blown, last check on everything for snow. I know a lot of guys I saw posting online where they were like, oh, my God, we probably should have got our stuff checked. But, hey, it'll be all right. It'll be all right. Speaking of which, here's our very special guest hopping on here. Let me get you hooked up here. Marc, how you doing, my friend?
I'm doing excellent. How are you?
Awesome, man. I appreciate you reaching out and hopping on with me this morning. And how's things in North Carolina?
Knowing.
Really? You're there too?
Oh, yeah.
Yay.
Yeah, but up in Banner Elk, North Carolina, and we have about, I don't know, maybe a quarter inch of snow, and it's snowing as we speak. So
well, good.
First time for the winter.
Yeah,
we're ready.
We got about the same weather going on here, and kind of neat for us, man. I mean, it's not unusual to get snow, in November, but it don't happen all the time. I'll tell you that, So we're looking forward to a little bit of snow. So we'll see what happens.
Last year was brutal. We lived through the hurricane last year, and that was September 27th, and basically all the leaves were gone. So the look of winter actually started like in September. And then, of course, all the flooding damage, all the trees were bare and down. So just mentally, it was a very, very long winter just because there was like no color. Like we've had beautiful colored leaves even up until last week or this week, driving through the mountains. So, yeah, mentally it takes an impact, with everything being dead and brown, for that long.
Yeah. It's funny that you mentioned the leaves because around here we still got quite a few leaves on our trees, and it's not very often that you get to see the snow with the color of the fall and going on. And it's really cool. And we're actually just now beginning to get some flurries. Ours is supposed to be like between now and say 2 or 3 o'clock this afternoon. But I'm looking forward to it because what we've seen on like our local news, like some surrounding counties just north and west of us, where they've had half inch of snow. It's really looking pretty with all the color of the leaves on a tree, and that's something we just don't get to see very often. So, but
Yeah.
but anyways, hey, we for you guys listening to us, I've got Marc with Leaf Burrito on with us today. And if ever you've had to spend way too many hours and trials and tribulations trying to stuff plastic bags with leaves and hedge trimming debris and whatnot, Marc's definitely got a solution for us, and we're going to be talking about that today. So, Marc, how in the world did you ever come up with the idea of the leaf burrito?
Well, so I'm a do-it-yourselfer, and since I've been a tiny kid, I've always thought of, I guess, been kind of an inventor, quite honestly. There's got to be a better way. And quite honestly, that was a little bit of that stuff was kind of built out of laziness. I just, I would do something inefficiently and I would say, there's got to be a better way. And I would create some gadgets out of an erector set back in the old days. And I was always just very creative and inventive to kind of just take a step back and look at things rather than just kind of staying in the grind. So I had about 25 bags worth of leaves that I had to get up off of my yard. And I live in Charlotte, North Carolina. So they take plastic bags at that time, and you're required to put everything into a plastic bag or a paper bag and put it at the curb, and then they pick it up. And then it was kind of crazy, but they rip open the plastic bags and then dump it into the back of the rear loader, and then they put that bag into another bag. So think of a bag full of bags.
Okay. Yep.
And that's their process to pick it up. So anyway, I have 25 bags worth of leaves, and I just didn't have time to fill all these bags up because it's very time consuming. It's annoying. You have to have like some kind of a liner. You put them in. If it's paper bags, they rip. They burst. It's really hard and difficult to get things into a plastic bag, let alone just the cost and inconvenience and one-offing single-use plastic bags. So I am a huge Costco fan. I don't know if you love Costco like I do.
Yeah.
I'm kind of a crazy Costco person. Quite honestly.
All right.
So they sell these blue tarps that are brown on the other side. So I had one of these at the house, and I go into the garage, pull it out, and I fill up the blue side and fill it up with this 25 bags worth of leaves. So I rolled it up at the streets and then kind of hog-tied it with some bungee cords and took a step back, and I was like, oh my God, that looks like a burrito. And that was kind of the first aha moment. And then I said, okay, well, now what? Because the city is not going to come down here and pick up this tarp because they don't allow tarps.
Okay.
Right? Because they could be filled with water. They could be too heavy. And of course, you tell a homeowner or a consumer that they can use a tarp. They say, oh, cool, I'm going to go out and buy a 40-foot by 60-foot tarp and put it at the street.
Yeah.
Right. So they would overdo it and abuse that privilege. So what I figured out next was that we needed a controlled tarp. So that's where the 7-foot design came in. And first of all, the patent is on how it folds in towards the belly. So a good visual is, let's say you're putting on a jacket and you're laying down on your back in the snow, and you zip up your belly, and then you would zip your hips, and then you would zip your shoulders. And so that's kind of a visual of what this looks like.
Okay.
Is that what happens is you stand it back up, and then now you can top load it. So I zip my belly, then I zip my hips. Now I stand up, and now I can top load from my shoulders.
So initially you bring all the debris to the middle of it, and then so then that becomes the framework, if you will, to support it for the top load.
Yep. And so this is the best part is that it starts flat like a tarp.
Yeah.
So flat to finished is kind of our mantra, right? So you're doing the same model that you've been doing for years, loading a tarp up. So you blow everything onto it, you rake everything onto it, you dump grass clippings onto it as a flat blanket. And then you put as much as you can on there, and then you zip it up, then you stand it up, then you squash it, and then you start filling it more and more and more. And so anyway, going back to the invention piece here. So then I worked with the city of Charlotte and said, hey, I got an idea for a reusable bag. I had a 7-footer. They said, okay, well, we need a different size. So I made a 5-footer. So now we have a 5-foot burrito and a 7-foot burrito. And what that means is the belly zipper is 5 foot and 7 foot long. So think of a large. So my influence actually was a hockey bag.
Okay.
So I played hockey when I was a kid, and I always loved having that big giant bag full of stuff. To be able. The problem with that is digging down to the bottom of it. So I don't know if you've ever dug down to the bottom of a large.
Oh yeah.
Bag.
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, it's really annoying because it's dark in there and you can't find anything.
Can't find anything. That's true. I was trying to find a pair of needle nose pliers yesterday, just in a small duffel bag. So yeah, I get exactly what you're talking about. Yeah.
Yep. And so that's where the other big aha moment is that, hey, why don't we have this thing open flat? And so the short zippers, what happens with those is let's say you zip up your belly zipper on your jacket, your 2 zippers are going to go from your left hip to the middle and then your right hip to the middle. So think of these 2 short zippers coming in towards the middle. So there's 5 zippers on the bag, and that's what allows it to go from flat to folded up. So unlike a sleeping bag, which would fold in half, that would be more of like a taco, right?
Okay.
So
yep.
Now we're going to fold this thing toward the middle. And what that does is it opens up a bunch of different opportunities of different ways to use the zipper. So for example, you can zip multiple burritos together, and that creates a long drag or a long trailer cover.
All right.
So now you have, picture a 7 foot by 7.33 foot blanket. Basically, you can zip another one together. So now you have.
Well, let me ask you this, Mark. You said the zipper itself is like 5 or 7 feet. How big is the tarp opened up? That same tarp, about?
It's going to be 7.33 feet wide.
Okay. All right. So, and then I saw on your website where you connect the tarp, you can zip these tarps together.
Yep.
So that's what you're talking about right now. Is the process of, if you want something larger, you can connect them together then, correct?
Correct. Okay. And so let's go back to the construction of it. So the other piece of the big piece was the mesh. So I ended up going through multiple iterations and came up with a proprietary mesh. It's what I call industrial grade mesh. And at the trade show, what we do is we actually have a pair of scissors there, and we have a piece of mesh, and we cut it. And we have really big people try to rip it, and they can't. So even if it gets like a tiny little nick in it, so for example, you're throwing it on your trailer, there might be a sharp edge or something like that, and you make it. It's not going to keep running. But it's a super strong porous mesh, and you can see through it. Air blows through it, water goes through it, and then it's heavy duty zippers. So think of the zippers that are on like a wedding tent, like that really heavy duty. They're called number 10 Vislon UV coated zippers. So what this is basically an industrial strength porous zippered mesh bag with handles. And so the handles are the key. So we come back full circle to ergonomics. So the problem with the tarp, my Costco tarp, I fold this thing up. Well, there's no way to keep it closed, right? So now I'm using twine, I'm using bungee cords, I'm using rope, I'm using some other gadget to
trying to keep everything contained in it.
Yep. And even if you do get it threaded through the grommets, usually those aren't enough. So there's material that's going to fall out because the grommets aren't every few inches, right? Like a shoe.
All right.
So, and then the other problem is the tarp doesn't have handles. Okay. So now what is the reason why a tarp rips is not, it rips because you can't pick it up because it's not ergonomic to pick it up. So what
Okay.
do? You drag it. And so the whole premise of this whole product is to component orient the bulk where you have handles and you're able to pick this thing up ergonomically. So think of a good word might be bucket brigade. Another good visual might be
All right.
carrying bags of concrete. You would never pick up 150-pound bags of concrete, right? So
Right.
instead, what you do is you take your pressure off and you don't you buy 50-pound bags and you carry three of them instead. And so that's kind of the physics and ergonomics of it. And if you're out working in the heat all day and you just don't want the fatigue, you don't want to be lifting 500-pound tarps, for example. It's dangerous to the workers. You can rip your shoulders out. You can hurt your back. If somebody's back's out. You're done. Your season's over. Rotator cuff injuries, stuff like that. So then you look at how to get some jobs. You can just take it to the backyard and dump it. That's great. But a lot of times you can't do that. So now the next step is you have to take it away. And so that's another really big piece where Leaf Burrito comes in, is that we kind of have a mantra of we're the last mile for material. And so everything out there cuts, mows, blows, chops, snips, collects, puts it into a pile. But now what? And a lot of times, I think, as you know, running a vacuum truck is very expensive. It's an asset that only sits there for 2 months out of the year in use, and the rest of the year it's just dormant. They break, they're dusty, they get clogged all the time, they break all the time, and quite honestly, they're just inefficient. They don't work in wet leaves. So I'm sure you've seen all these guys with the big elephant trunk driving down the street trying to suck up wet leaves. And usually, like in the city, there's one guy with an elephant trunk and a big handle on it, and then there's two other guys raking into the elephant trunk. Well, that just seems like enormously inefficient. And they spent an hour blowing this giant pile of leaves the size of a semi truck from the backyard to the front yard with 12 backpack blowers. So the goal here is to kind of component orient this. So visualize a 2-acre property. You throw 4 burritos in each of the corners. You do all your collective stuff, mow the grass, pull the weeds, blow everything out, put it into these 4 burritos. Last thing you're doing is burritoing up the debris, throwing it on the trailer, and you're out of there.
Okay. Yep. So if a person, help me understand this a little bit, then once they've got their 4 burritos full, what are they doing to get rid of the debris?
Well, if you look at, again, every situation is going to be different. Some people have compost facilities. Some people have their own mulching compost area at their business.
Because that's,
And
yeah.
so
All right.
the unloading piece is just as efficient. So if you think about, if you threw all these leaves into a tarp on the front of your trailer, and then you tried to hog tie this thing, and now you're driving down the road, everything's flying off, and now you get to the composting area. Now what? Now I've seen them hitting this with pitchforks. I've seen them using backpack blowers for 20, 30 minutes, blowing it off the trailer. You have a dump trailer, that's great, because you can just pull up and dump. So if you don't have that, you just have your truck and you're pulling a trailer. Now what you do is unzip the 2 short sides, so the hips, and you grab the shoulder straps and you kick it. And so visualize taking a pillow out of a pillowcase. You grab the ends of it, you shake it out. So now I drive to my compost area. I have my 4 to 6 burritos sitting on my trailer. I unzip, kick it, flip it, gone in seconds.
I gotcha.
The burritos are porous. You just fold down like a bath towel. So now you can basically fold them a couple times and they sit small. And they aren't going to blow off your trailer because they're porous. So that's another big issue and danger with tarps, is that the tarps are going to act like parachutes, especially if you end up on the highway.
Mm-hmm. When
that's really good.
Let me ask you this, and again, I think I can't remember 100% when I was looking at your website on this. Can a person use it to enclose a trailer if they are vacuuming after the fact?
They could. You can zip multiple burritos together. So let's say the two 7-footers.
Uh-huh.
The male zipper would connect with the female zipper of the next one. And so now you have basically a 15-foot by 7-foot blanket that would go tarp that would go over top of the truck, and then it has all the handles everywhere. So now you have all these great tie down points, and the mesh. It's actually a 10 by 10 construction, which means that there's 10 threads per inch. And that means that you can basically see through this thing. And
So the airflow and all is going to be really good for it.
it is.
Yeah. Okay.
So now, I will have to say, if you're using a high-powered vacuum, those are going to basically pulverize the leaves into dust. And so a lot of times you do need to have some kind of a smaller porous material so that the dust isn't blowing everywhere.
Right.
So leaf burrito is almost more designed to let like a little bit of dirt and debris out. So let's just say you loaded plants. You were digging out a plant and you could put some dirt in this thing and you lay it down next to a plant, you dig a big hole, you throw the dirt onto the burrito, and just a little bit is going to fall out, just a tiny bit. But that's intentional. We want all of that stuff to fall out. But it's not going to be like an N95 mask where this is going to keep out all the dust.
Okay.
So it's not to be confused or used as a leaf vacuum filter.
I got you. And so from a landscaping perspective, other than leaves, I mean, what kind of debris will this thing hold? It sounds like it can be multi-use, not just leaf season, right?
We call it, it's actually written right on the bag. It's called the year-round yard bag. And what we discovered is obviously it was designed for leaves, but then we realized that it was actually more valuable in the spring and summer. So you have all your annuals, you have your grass clippings. I personally have zoysia at my home.
Uh-huh.
And when I have a Toro mower, so I would collect those grass clippings, and sometimes the grass would be wet, and you collected wet zoysia clippings, which can be very, very heavy. So I would use a 5-foot burrito. I'd take the bagger off the mower, dump it onto this flat blanket in the middle of the yard, go around, cut more, dump it in there, slide the burrito off to the side that I already cut, dump more in there, pull a few weeds, pull a few annuals, throw any sticks, any logs, anything in there. So the durability of the mesh is unbelievable. You can literally put logs in there. We've actually carried a tree timber for an arborist class. We had to carry a giant timber down basically a couple hundred feet away for demonstration purposes. And we were able to basically kind of think of like a fireman's carry.
Right.
So you don't necessarily have to zipper it either. So it's got handles on all the sides. And if you just need to go from A to B, so you want to pull debris from the backyard and get it to your dump truck, you can just basically fold this thing up like a fireman's blanket and carry it over there. You dump it into your truck and then you go back in.
Now, if the guys say you're trimming hedges, right, you with it and whatnot, is I'm sure the material from what you said, it's crazy strong. So it is safe then to hedge trimmings, clippings, branches, when you go to drag it and or zip it up, it's functional, I'm sure, right?
Oh, absolutely. So a couple different things you mentioned. Hedge trimming. So the 7-footers are going to be great for hedge trimmings. And one of the most important things about hedge trimming is that you want to protect the bedding. You don't want to be mixing hedge trimmings into my pine straw or my mulch, because now when you're trying to get those hedge trimmings out, you're taking some of my pine straw or mulch. So what you do is you're going to put this underneath the hedges, clip everything. It drops down into it. You can drag your multiple burritos connected together down the hedge line, keep cutting. And then at the end of all that exercise, you're going to unzip the 2 burritos maybe that you put together, and you're going to throw anything else in there. So the sticks, the weeds, even dirt. And you can throw all that right into the burrito, zip it up. And it's just crazy durable. You can drag it on grass and even smooth things all day long. The only kryptonite, just like anything else on the planet, I don't care what it is, If you drag it on broomed concrete when it's super heavy, it'll get some brush burns.
Okay.
So, and again, that would be true of a piece of steel.
Okay.
So that's really the only, but the model of the whole thing is to pick it up. And so that's why all the handles are on there. So imagine dragging this around the yard. You can pull it with your mower if you want. You can drag this thing and you get down to the rough driveway where your truck is. Okay, now you can hop this thing over the concrete and get it up onto your trailer by using basically all the handles that are on this.
All right. Hey, Mark, can I ask you to hold on just for a second before we move on any further?
Sure.
I'm going to take a short break and we'll be right back with Mark and the Leaf Burrito here on Turfs Up Radio. Your industry, your station. Welcome back. Welcome back to Profit Time here on Turfs Up Radio. Speaking of giving back, hey, we got the big give back here on Turfs Up Radio. So you guys be sure to go to our website, turfsupradio.com, sign up. And we've got a lot of different items from different sponsors and whatnot that we're going to be giving away. So be sure, again, go to our website, turfsupradio.com. You'll see where you can register there. And we're going to be drawing during the day on our live shows for a lot of things that our suppliers and or our sponsors here on Turfs Up are going to let us have to give away to our listeners. And the only caveat to it is you got to be listening live to win. So it's one of those things. So, Mark, hey, appreciate you letting me take a short break there, my friend. And
Sure. Good.
Yeah, good deal. So as far as landscapers using it in the field and the durability, obviously sounds like you've got that figured out with it as well. How much time do you think you're saving? Because it's all about time, right? And then it was a need-based item here. What kind of feedback are you getting from commercial contractors? Is, hey, we're using it for trimming our hedges. We're using it for leaves. How creative are some of the commercial landscapers getting and using your product? I'm sure you got to hear a lot of different stories for sure.
We do. And so the productivity is at least twice as fast. So there's obviously different applications, but one of the big things that you think about, let's just say that you had no tarp, you had no anything. What you would do is you would trim your hedges, you cut your grass, you pull weeds, you do all this stuff, and then you blow it into a pile. So first of all, blowing is completely inefficient to a point, right? So you can blow it into an area. And so think of how they make hay, right? So they cut the hay and then they use a machine that puts it into rows. And then they come by with another machine that collects it in bales, right? So that is the most efficient way to collect stuff. Shuffling, what I have this other saying calling stop the shuffle. And there's nothing worse than seeing like four guys like competing in a blowing contest trying to turn over an elephant of leaves.
Right.
And they do this for an hour. They literally turn the ball upside down over and over and over and over again. Well, that just doesn't make any sense because now you just have a bigger mess on your hands at the end of that mile, right? So that's where I keep coming back to component orienting the bulk. So another model that we have is every trailer needs a 6-pack. And I say that because one day you might need one 5-foot burrito because maybe you're going to bring some mulch into a job, or you're going to bring pea gravel into a job, or you're going to do something. So you can bring stuff in and out. Next day, you might need 4 burritos for different things. You might need all 6 on a heavy day. And again, it's just different tools to have on the trailer that, again, look like, think of 6 bath towels stacked up. It takes up no space whatsoever. Okay. All right. So the productivity is going to be huge because now, instead of doing this monstrosity of leaves, and another strategy could be you can mow the leaves into a grass catcher. So what that does is basically pulverizes them. And so now you can put pulverized leaves into a burrito, and now you've reduced all your volume of leaves. Right. So it's a couple different ways to do it. But even if you're pulling annuals, for example, you got to put all that stuff somewhere. And a lot of these times when you spend so much time cleaning up the mess that you made. And so that's kind of the visual, is that I'm able to collect all this stuff as you go. So think of kind of cleaning the kitchen as you're cooking,
Right.
instead of waiting till the very end of a Thanksgiving dinner and then there's 4,000 dishes all over the whole house.
Yeah. So the green initiative behind this is almost something that somebody could solicit as well, isn't it? I mean, because it really is. I mean, you're not buying, or you don't have to buy nearly the same volume of plastic bags. I mean, there you still
Well,
may have that need, but I'm just thinking if we open up that leaf burrito right on site, and even if we're bagging grass, bagging clippings, whatever we're doing with them, you're right. It is a challenge filling up a plastic bag versus just dumping onto something such as a leaf burrito that you're not trying to hit a small hole in. The fill up. So I could see where the efficiency is crazy good with that thing.
a lot of compost, as far as I know, every compost facility does not allow you to bring plastic into that facility. So what
Correct.
would happen is you would pull up. Now you have your 20 bags full of leaves, your plastic bags, right? So you pull
Mhm.
up to the compost central, and they're like, "Okay, well, sure, we'll take your leaves." And they weigh you, and then you have to undo all that plastic. Well, that's a silly waste of time. So no more plastic bags, no more tarps, no more paper bags. You might need the only. I've asked tons and tons of my customers, like, "Have you ever bought a tarp since you bought a leaf burrito?" And the answer is occasionally, like if we need to waterproof something.
Yeah.
So, like if they need to cover a piece of equipment or
Cover
something like
something up.
that,
Yeah.
right? And but that's not it's
What
outside of the leaf.
what kind of
leaf
lifespan is, and I know it's going to depend on the contractor and the use that, how heavy of use they've got with them. But I mean, what have you seen, say a two truck operation, that's, using this thing, not every day, but quite a bit. I mean, are they getting 4 or 5 years of use out of one of these before? And what does happen to them? I mean, do they blow off the trailer because the guy didn't secure it, and that's why they're reordering, or what type of lifespan do these things have?
Well, it's crazy. We actually have people from almost 9 years ago that
Uh
still have theirs, and then they'll call us and say, we ran over the corner of it with a lawnmower,
huh.
and can you can you fix it? And the answer is yes. And so we are technically a cut and sew shop, all made in Charlotte, North Carolina, in USA here. And people send us burritos back occasionally, and we will replace a zipper. We'll patch any kind of holes in it. We can replace the handles, so we can literally kind of scarecrow the thing back together. And again, we almost consider it a 10-plus year product. And just like anything else, like think of how many people own backpack blowers or weed eaters or anything else. If you take care of it, like just for example, if you throw your backpack blower onto the ground and crack the frame, well, shame on you. If you gently take care of your equipment, you'll keep that backpack blower
Right.
for 15 years. Right. So the same thing goes. The only kryptonite for burritos, the only kryptonite is you can't drag a super heavy loaded burrito on broomed concrete.
On broom concrete, like you said.
That's it.
Yeah.
That's it. You can put bricks in there, rocks, no sharps, so no like metal scraps, for example.
Right.
You could put branches in there all day long, even if they have slightly pointy, like if you're pruning a tree. And we have arborists. Bartlett Trees uses these across the country, actually. So you can put trees in there, and it's unbelievably durable. The weight on there is at least 800 pounds, which is more than humans can carry. So we've seen people actually lifting these up with forklifts and tractor forks and everything else. So it's an insane durable product.
It
And
sounds like
again,
it. No,
yeah,
because we're pretty
you're
good
done
as
buying.
contractors trying to figure out, and I say this with all due respect to our industry, we're pretty good at trying to figure out how to tear something up. Generally,
Yeah,
I mean, It's like the Tonka test, see if it can survive the Tonka test. But it sounds like you guys have done it with the leaf burrito for sure, man.
Well,
Uh,
it's one of our challenges, quite honestly, is so when I invented this thing years ago, and I would start telling people about it, and they would look at me and they'd say, what is this? How does it work? And it's really kind of interesting. The best word I can use is revolutionary. So go back to, and I'm in no way equating my product to an iPod, but just the idea of an iPod, right? So they came back years ago and they said, "Hey, we're going to give you this device that plays music." And people are like, "What are you talking about?" They
right.
didn't even understand what that meant. And so the challenge that we've had for the past 10 years is getting the whole world to look at this and just understand like how powerful this tool is and how it zips up. And then, so some people, for example, in the residential market, so we're in Lowe's and Home Depot, by the way. So we have a residential 5 foot version. And I'll have people that come up to me on my street and say, "Oh, does this is that a special subscription service? Like, does somebody come by and take the bag?" I'm like, "No, the city will empty it. They unzip it, flip it, throw it into the truck, and they put it back on my yard, just like a garbage can." So it's revolutionary because I actually have to explain this. And even at our trade show, we have to explain to people, like how it works. So that's kind of where, that's just the grind, right? That's just getting the word out. And, this interview, for example, is a great way to get the word out on just the power of doing something differently. And I'll never forget this one guy at the trade show. He called me son. He said, "Son, I've been using tarps for 35 years." And I said, "You were not my customer." So, I'm 56. So he was
Okay.
calling me son.
Yeah.
But it was just people were so ingrained in saying, "It's got to be done this way. I've done it this way for years. I use sheets. I use
Yes.
sheets like nobody's business." And it's okay. Well, then, maybe if your sheet rips or gets wet and nasty and moldy, you'll consider a leaf burrito down the road. And so it's just a new way of thinking, and especially linking these things together and being able to bring material in. So for another great example is I can throw a 7 footer across my open bed trailer, have them dump 3/4 of a yard of red mulch or nuggets onto it, and now I can
Uh-huh.
bring material in. And so now I'm shoveling all this off my trailer, and then the last little bit I can just pick it up and pull it right off my trailer quickly. So the professionalism is another key piece of this too. So when you're driving down the street, so if we almost go backwards and say, okay, at the end of the day, it's leaf season, what does our trailer look like? Right. So now we're coming back and say, do you have a 800-pound tarp blowing in the wind, or do you have potentially 4 or 6 burritos neatly stacked like pillows on my trailer that are custom branded with my logo for my company? And maybe that could even include a hashtag that says sustainable landscaping,
Right.
right? So there's an image to that as well. And then, of course, the ergonomics and the safety factor that we talked about earlier is that my guys aren't trying to pull off a 500-pound ball. They're now pulling off, small little component-oriented things and moving on.
Yeah, I did. You told me about that at the Equip Expo that you guys will actually customize the screen print on these. If what, how many, 6 units or something, wasn't it? Or
Just thick.
yeah,
Yep.
so
We have,
you'll get their name put on it. You'll get their name put on it, and that's got to increase the image and professionalism for a small business or a large company, but certainly make a small business look really good with their name branded on it.
it's huge. And again, you got to look at the optics, right? So if a customer is seeing you outside fumbling with tarps, plastic bags, paper bags, wasting time, they're looking at that as time is money. So if they see you spinning your wheels, putting a paper bag holder or a plastic bag holder, and the custom branding is something where you could you go to your next stop, you put your burrito on the sidewalk. Now that's basically like an advertisement for what you do, and then people look at that and say, "Wow, these guys are using something that's sustainable and efficient." And again, you could put the custom branding on there, the message on that. So the 6-pack is the minimum order, and we do $75 one time for a screen, and we physically push a squeegee, and we print these in one color. So we'll actually print your logo with anything else you want on it, phone numbers, etc. And that's good for branding, but also just for identification. So like, and then there's a patch on there. You could write like truck number 1, truck number 2, and just again, so somebody sees a burrito on the street or whatever it is, you forgot one, they would know who it belongs to.
Is there a particular size that contractors like?
Well, I'm glad you asked about the sizes. So here's the big visual: is that the top loading. Okay, so the burrito is laying down flat. So picture the 7-foot one. You have a 7-foot. So picture a dining room table that's 7 feet long.
Okay.
You're going to load this thing more like, first you're going to start flat, and then you're going to zip up the short sides, and now you're going to bake potato this thing. Okay, so the middle is going to be now open, and now you can put more and more and more and more in there. And the 5-foot one is going to be able to stand up. So now what you do is you zip the hips and you zip the belly, and now you stand it up vertical. So now visualize a rollout garbage can, right? So all the material is pushing out on the bottom, and now you can sit on this thing, kneel on it, squish it down, and you push everything down. Like imagine standing inside of a rollout garbage can, right? Squishing it all down, and then you're like, hey, let's put more in. And then, hey, let's put more in. You keep top loading it. And that's the big difference is, do you need or want to top load this or not? And so the 5-foots are going to be more of an all around better solution. And we have something called a perfect pack, which is actually 2 7-footers and then 4 5-footers. And the reason for that is the 2 7-footers can be zipped together to make a large cover or a large drag. And those are going to be good for head trimmings and lightweight material. If you are going to be pulling out wet zoysia, you're going to want to fill up the 5-foot bags all day long. Another huge thing is when you're changing out old mulch, like moldy mulch from a bed, and you want to just like literally rake that out. That is almost essentially raw dirt at this point, all the decomposed mulch, and that is going to be freaking heavy. And so the other big piece of this is that I hate to use this analogy, but not analogy, but the visual, but because we're on a radio, is another influence on this is the ergonomics of a body bag.
Okay.
And the reason that a body bag is designed the way that it is because that is the most efficient way to carry dead weight.
Okay.
Right? So we have the same handles on this thing. So imagine pulling out potentially 250 pounds worth of old mulch. And at the trade show, I'm 195. So I will get in the bag and have people pick me up and carry me around at the trade show. And then what the idea is that they're lifting with their legs. Okay, so now you bend down, you lift with your knees, you have your back straight, and now I can just lift this up to elbow height and get it up onto the trailer. I'm not lifting up over my head. I'm not doing anything crazy. And that's where a 7-footer could get really heavy if it was filled with zoysia clippings. It could potentially be 400 or 500 pounds.
I got you.
And then the other piece about carrying something. So if 2 guys are on both ends carrying something that's 5 foot long, it's going to be easy for us to keep it up off the ground. If 2 guys are carrying something that's 7 foot long, it's going to tend to want to drag on the ground in the middle because it's going to sag, right? And that's fine unless you get near broomed concrete. So they're 2 totally different tools. I would say most of the time you're going to want a 5-footer, especially in springtime, summertime. And as we all know, the fall cleanup, you get the bulk, and you just got to embrace the suck. It's just a lot of leaves, and there's just nothing in the world that's just going to fix that one moment of bulkness. So the 7-foots are going to do a great job, but we've had some people say, okay, well, they would buy like, say, 1 7-footer, for example, and then they would just one of them, and then they would go use it, and they'd say, oh, this thing is too small. We use 40-foot by 40-foot tarps, and they kind of missed the whole point. Had they had a 6-pack of 7-footers on the truck, they would have nailed it.
Right, because you can just join them together. Yeah.
Yes, exactly. And
so you're customizing your tarp, and you're right. I mean, I cannot tell you how many tarps I've bought over the course of 46 years in business, quite honestly. And it's like, as soon as you buy them, you know that it's it's wasted money. I mean, because they're not going to survive very long. They just
And it's,
they
there's a
don't.
sustainable
Yeah,
consciousness about it.
they just don't live to play another day in most cases. You consider yourself lucky if you get through leaf season buying tarps one time. That
Well, pain to me is I go out and buy a, $35, $40 tarp, and then days later I have to roll it up into a ball and put it into my trash can.
right.
Like that's painful. That's painful to me,
Yeah.
and it's also just reckless in a sense where that's money down the drain.
Yeah.
And so that's again one of the big benefits of this thing is that this is a 10+ year tool. Again, I can't tell you how many reorders we get. They get new fleets. The first thing they do is buy bags for their new trailers, box trailers. That's the other piece is like if you have box trailers, you don't want to put a giant loose debris in your nice clean trailer. You want to have everything nice and clean.
I got you. Hey, I got a text, and I believe this guy's been serious about this, Mark. But I'm gonna share it with you. Um, it says, "Tell him I said go blue. We need more go blue signs."
Yeah,
What?
he's the
Let
Michigan
us
guy who
know
came and
about.
harassed me.
Oh, okay. All right.
Yeah, I'm an Ohio State Buckeye,
Oh, okay.
the Ohio
Oh,
State
okay. So
University.
he's wanting this. All right, I got you. Fair enough. I was like, okay, I'm not even sure if I really want to answer this question or not. But hey, as we're up on the end of this, as we wrap it up, Mark, how does somebody get a hold of you? If they're interested in Leaf Burrito, what's an easy way for them to check it out and get a hold of you?
Well, a couple different ways. We're available at Lowe's and HomeDepot.com. We're in 21 different Lowe's stores right now, and just online at Home Depot and online at Lowe's. If you want custom branded bags, those would have to go through us. And so that's going to go through Leaf Burrito, BURRITO.com. And you can also buy those any of the bags from us directly. We also have additional products. So if you go to burritobrands.com, we have gear burrito, boat burrito, and beach burrito. So
Okay.
we are basically in the porous bag market, the porous zippered bag market. But leafburrito.com, again, these are all handmade and hand screen printed right in Charlotte. Even if you go through Lowe's, we're basically drop shipping them from our factory. So yeah, leafburrito.com. And then we decided to throw you guys a bone, and we had a coupon code. Basically, it's called a campaign code on our website, and it's just Turfs Up is the code. And we're going to kind of extend our 15% discount. So this is like something we were doing with the trade show.
Well, we appreciate
We also
that.
yeah, we're going to leave that up. We're probably just going to leave that up for a couple days. I'm thinking maybe today's Monday. We'll just leave it for maybe Tuesday, Wednesday,
Okay.
and deactivate that. So
it's simply Turfs Up and TURFS up, and that'll be good for a 15% discount code on anything that they order with you guys.
That's correct.
I got you. All right. Well, good deal. And then, like you heard me probably talking about on my on our break there, and was our big giveaway that we're doing here on Turfs Up Radio. If you would like to consider maybe one of those bags going to one of our listeners, I certainly would appreciate that as well. So,
Absolutely. In fact, we'll do 1 7-footer, 1 5-footer.
All right. Good deal. Well, we certainly appreciate that. And when we hop off here, Mark, I'll give you a call back if that's okay. As soon as I get off my show, and I'll get some information from you if that's okay.
Excellent. Well, thank you so much for having me on, and good talk.
Absolutely, Mark. I appreciate it, my friend, and we'll talk to you later and get you on again sometime.
All right. Take care.
All right. Thank you. That was Marc, the creator of Leaf Burrito, a very simple but very powerful solution for helping us all, cut costs, reduce waste, be more green, if you will, all those great things that we like to do, and sustainability. So check them out at leafburrito.com. Again, that's leafburrito.com. And if you use when you go to checkout, type in Turfs Up. That's TURFSUP, Turfs Up, and get your 15% discount. Hey, we all love discounts, right? And we all love to save money and get a great product in return for that. So, Marc, again, I want to thank you. I appreciate you hopping on with me today. Stay tuned for King Darren up next here at 11 a.m. on Turfs Up Radio, your industry, your station. And remember, profit is not a dirty word. We'll see you Wednesday.